Hello, and welcome to Storytime with Kate. Today we are going to focus on reading aloud. So, 10 top tips for early childhood educators and how to read with expression and passion. Number 1, choose the books you love. So, over the years, I collected a lot of books and I enjoy reading them. Sometimes children bring books that you don't really know or you don't like. Yet, it's always the best to read books, especially if you have a choice, the books that you are enjoying yourself as an educator. Number 2, build up your collection of props. So in my case, I have boxes and boxes of puppets. I have some felt pieces. I have felt boards. I have puppets that are for hand. They are finger puppets, and I also make puppets with paper and sticks and all the other things. Props might also include story apron, and they might include whiteboards and other things. Tip number 3, pace your reading. So when you start reading a book, you need to make sure that everyone is following you, and sometimes it means slowing down, especially now when children are not always from English speaking background. They might have language delay, cognitive delay, or some learning difficulties. It's always better to read a little bit slower with expression, like I am doing right now. Tip number 4, choose books with great pictures. So as you can see here, the pictures are quite attractive. They also tell the story. I really like Play School, and I like the pictures because they are quite unique and they also encourage conversations. So pictures usually enhance the text in books, and children usually are more drawn to books that have very good pictures. Tip number 5, repeat. Repetition is one of the most important things we have to do as early childhood teachers, because early readers they do benefit from repetition. So read one book more than once. It's also great for your skills, because as an early childhood student or early childhood educator only at the start of their career, you might want to practice reading out loud to feel more comfortable and more confident. So read it before you read to children, and as you read books to children, read them more than once. Number 6, reading area, like in my office, it's for adults, still should be inviting, quiet, and comfortable. In most centers I visit, I see pillows, I see very neatly organized shelves, I see books that are displayed at child's level. Even in baby's room, children can actually see the cover of the book. They can crawl or walk and grab a book and offer it to the educator. So this is very important, because reading is activity that requires concentration and focus. We want to have this area quiet, and we want it to be aesthetically pleasing and inviting. The light is another consideration. So children are reading and they're using their eyesight. We don't want to jeopardize that. So we want to make sure that this area, although comfy, is well lit as well. So usually book corners are near the window. Number 7, the way you read books and the way you hold books or presentation should include consideration for children who are sitting at the back, sitting on the sides. So quite often when I read to children, children start to complain, I can't see, and this is quite common. So they start to jump up and they try to come closer, and this causes havoc. So before you start reading, make sure that every single child can see the book. You might ask them. You can change your position if you still experience some difficulties, and only after that you can start reading. Sometimes segmentation of the carpet or positioning children around the mat in a way that everyone can see and stay on their seats also helps. Number 8, tell stories instead of reading. I know, right? It's counterintuitive. We are talking about the reading. Why do I need to chuck this book? Because if you read a story that is very interesting and engaging, you can actually tell this story without a book. For example, you all know Three Bears and Goldilocks story. Try to tell this story even using props instead of reading a book. Why? Because books are fantastic for supporting literacy, and I'm a huge advocate for having more books rather than less. However, at times we need to introduce oral storytelling and encourage children also to participate. This kind of dismantles this barrier that books create. And although they do help to focus children's attention, sometimes it's easier to tell the story to children when you sit in a circle and it's more conversational. And it really is a great way to tell stories before or during rest time. Number 9, talk about the book. Sometimes I see educators read the book, close it, and they say, go wash your hands, or everybody you go and play now. It is not a complete session of reading aloud, and you're actually missing out on some lessons that could be followed the reading session. So why it's important to talk about the book? Because it is a book session, it's a literacy session, and it needs to be followed up by some questions. For example, did you like the book? What the book was about? What happened in the story? This encourages children to focus, concentrate, think, and also develops their memory skills. Not to mention, inquiry-based learning actually is based on question-based pedagogy. Finally, tip number 10, voice, non-verbal expressions, and intonation. Super important. I know it's tip number 10 and I actually should start with this one, but it takes time to develop your ability to read with expression. What I did as a newly graduate teacher, I used to watch my supervisor, how she used to read to children, the way she was using her voice modulations, how she stressed the key ideas or sentences or words. And then I also watched a lot of YouTube videos, especially with celebrities who are actors usually, and how they read books. Another way to improve your presentation or the way you read books to children is to record yourself and then watch and get feedback from someone who you trust. I hope you enjoyed these 10 tips for reading aloud during circle times. What's your favorite tips? Please comment, like, and share. Bye!